Hello, everybody. This is Robert Hollis. I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. Welcome very much to the webinar here. I know that each and every one of you have incredibly valuable time. And for you to get on a Sunday night, I just really appreciate it. And I did get a lot of people that are actually watching this webinar all over the world. And so one of the unique things that I want to do here tonight, why I promoted for this, is I want to share with each and every one of you, the most incredible and the most valuable things that my mentor shared with me. And one of the things that I think that is very unique about a lot of people is that every once in a while, everyone seems to think that they always want to know how to do something. See, we constantly go, please show me how, please show me how, just show me how to do it. And then other people turn around and say, please tell me what to do. And so I see there BJ and Jeanette Martin on here from Australia, David, Timothy, awesome. And so one of the key things that I'm going to do here tonight is I'm going to do a number of things. First of all, I'm going to share with you the most valuable things. And I think that each and every one of you really should be taking notes on this. And the reason why is a lot of the basics and things that it takes to be successful are sort of lost. So what I'm going to do is cover that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into just a little bit of telling you some of the things that I know will help you immediately. Because the worst thing that I hate on any webinar is they tell you things that have helped you, but then they don't tell you where to go and what to do next, right? And then lastly, I want to finish this up with helping you exactly with, I do Ask Me Anythings. I do all these unique things that I'm here to help you. So let's go ahead and get started. So when I said the most valuable lessons that my mentors taught me, if any one of you got a chance not only to watch the video that I promoted this webinar with, but also the videos that you had come to you. I'm going to cover in depth a little more about what exactly has happened in those. So the first thing I want each and every one of you to know is that Albert Einstein has this incredible thought. And a lot of things that I learned from my mentors, like phrases, when the student's ready, the teacher appears, or you hear these things that like the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over, expecting a different result. There's a lot of cliches like that, or little statements or words that, you'll hear. And then later on in life, they just become like, whoa, they just like knock you back. One of Jim Rohn's favorite ones that I live my life by is you'd rather make money from profits instead of wages. And he just had this incredible philosophy. And so Albert Einstein had this one thing that he said that just was amazing. And that very simple thing is you can't get into a different place. You can't get to a different place as far as your ambitions or your standards. If you're right now in situations where you're struggling with your finances, or struggling learning about business, or struggling learning about communications, there's all these areas that you need to learn to be a successful entrepreneur, to be a successful and happy person, to master the art of achievement, to be in a place in life where you're connected and you also are fulfilled. See, there's a lot of people out there that are doing a lot of things, and it seems like they're in the hustle and the bustle of the world. And you got people out there that are just saying, just do it. And you got people that are just saying, hustle. And it's like, no matter what you do in life, if you're not doing the right things, it doesn't make a difference how hard you work. And I get people all the time that say these things to me. They go, you don't know how hard I work. You don't know how much I work on myself. You don't know how much personal development that I use. You don't know how many people I've talked to. You don't know how many links I've sent out. And the bottom line is, and I hope that you hear this, because my whole goal is to try to just get direct with you as I can today, is the whole concept is very simply this. It doesn't matter if you're not getting results. It doesn't matter if you're not getting results. So again, Albert Einstein, the quote I want to give you is you can't use the same mentality that got you where you are today to get you out of where you are. And so never in any time in history have I seen so many people, chasing the next shiny thing, looking for, a shortcut, looking for a hack in life. There's all these people out there that are consistently doing multiple things, and they're doing them all bad. The art of learning to master the mundane is a lost art form, a total lost art form. And another one is humbling yourself and asking for help, seeking out people that have more wisdom and knowledge than you so that they can guide you. You know what I mean? And coach you and get you in the right direction, like almost oversee what you're doing. And so the biggest thing that I see with people right now, and why I relate to this, and I'm going to share this quick story with you, is that in my life, why would you ask for help? If you're brought up around an environment, a culture where, it's like it almost is like you're weak. You're weak if you ask for help. You see what I mean? And it's like this other thing that I haven't figured out because I don't have this personality type, but people got to change it. You know what I mean? So if there's someone out there that is super, super successful, getting incredible results, then you say, well, listen, how'd you do that? And then they tell you, and you go, listen, I don't want to do that way. And so they subtract from it, they add from it, they add to it, I guess. And what they're doing is they're doing multiple things. Can you imagine? So I want to tell you this quick little story first, because I tell a story in my Millionaire Creation Formula. It's a 27-hour course. I'll tell you a little bit about it at the end of the webinar. But it's one of those things where when, I just get out of college, trade school, I'm an auto mechanic. And, now I get to go work at a big dealership. I work for a Chrysler dealership in Williston, North Dakota. And I never forget, I go there, I'm the lowest guy on the totem pole. And so they bring in this vehicle to get worked on. And what was wrong, as you could tell right away, I was a mechanic, that it had a axle bearing out. And so what I needed to do is, change that axle bearing. So buying the part and everything is no problem, right? Jack the vehicle up, take the tires off, take everything that I need, the hub off. And then I look in the Chilton's manual. See, now here's where a lot of people mess up. I looked in the book. So there's a lot of people out there right now that teach skills. They teach you scripts. They teach you exactly the skills that you need to be successful. Excuse me. The whole concept behind understanding skills is that if you have the skills, but you don't know the right knowledge, the intentions, the belief behind it, the nuances behind it, it doesn't work. And so like Albert Einstein saying, if you're stuck in a place, you can't use that same mindset, that same thought pattern, the same wisdom, the same everything to get you out of where you are. And when you have someone that has more wisdom, more knowledge, more experience, more success, like Jim Rohn says, success leaves clues, they can see what you're doing and go, you just need to change this, 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 and this. And so in my story, I read the Chilton's manual. This is an instruction manual that auto mechanics not only use to figure out how to get this part fixed, but it also tells you how much an average auto mechanic should be able to do that job. And so the first thing it told me is I needed an axle puller. And if you guys are not technical, just hang on. I'll go quick with this. And so I looked, and it was supposed to be in the special tools. I go back there, and there's this great big pegboard with pegs in it. And guess what? The tool's not there. So I go to the service manager, and I said, the special tool's not there. And they go, well, the mechanics are supposed to take it, put it back. You need to go ask them. So I asked every one of them. One of the guys had it next to his toolbox. And I went over and I hooked it up exactly the way it was told, and had this big hunk of metal on there. And I could take this hunk of metal, and I was it's called a slide hammer. So the weight and the slamming of it is like a hammer working in reverse, and it would pull this axle out. And I worked hard. Not only did I work hard, but every mechanic was watching me. This thing was very, very loud. Wham, wham. I was putting all my effort in it, all my energy, and it wasn't budging an inch. And then all of a sudden, not only is it not coming out, but then I got people that are laughing at me. Now, each and every one of you, I want you to think about this. As you're learning to be better at anything, if you're learning to raise your standards, if you're learning to be more ambitious, if you're learning to, be happier, if you're learning to be a better marketer, a better entrepreneur, if you want to get better at communications, if you want to get better at training, you want to get better at speaking, you want to get better at coaching, mentoring, if you want to get better at anything, you got to understand you're immediately going into an uncomfortable zone. Me doing this webinar tonight, I've never used Webinar Jam. I've never used this software before. I understand the importance of doing evergreen webinars. I understand all of this stuff. It doesn't make it less comfortable. And so if I had the mindset, well, this is technical and I've never done this, and will someone please help me, blah, 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 I don't know how to do this, and I'd rather. No, you got to just do it. And everything done the first time, it's uncomfortable. People are watching you. If you're a people pleaser, you immediately are upset because you're, what are people are going to think? What are people going to think? What are people going to say? What are they? So all of a sudden you got all that stuff bothering you. And so I just got my job. This is my first day on the job. And I'm just like going crazy. And I'm like, wow, I can't get this off. And I was doing everything correct. So I want to say right now, I can see you guys typing stuff over here, which is awesome. Have any one of you ever felt that you were doing it right? Dang it, I'm doing it exactly the way they told me how to do it. I read the scripts, I'm out there talking, I'm doing exactly what they're telling me to do, and I'm not getting any results. Have any one of you ever been in that scenario? Because I'm still there. I'm still challenging myself every day. So here's where 98, 99% of the people quit. This is where they quit. Because it doesn't feel comfortable, and I don't know what people are going to think, and what if people are laughing at me, and wah, 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 right? And so all of a sudden I just kept doing it, and thank God I didn't ask for help. I'm telling you where I made my mistakes is I didn't ask for help. And all of a sudden a guy comes over, and it was like this loud noise, right? And I look over, and he's pulling this giant chain. I mean, it was a huge chain. Links are like this big. And he's pulling this chain out of the bottom of his toolbox. And it's like ting, 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 and he pulls it all out, and he starts walking toward me. And as he's walking toward me, he's dragging this chain, right? And he walks up to me, and I had the car on a hoist about, shoulder high, and my shoulder, everything was hurting. And he said, lower it down as low as you can to the ground. I said, okay. So I lowered it all the way down. Then he took the chain. He said, take the puller off. I took the 3 lug nuts off that hold the tire on, that held this puller on. I pulled it off. And then he put the chain on. He had this big washer in his pocket. And I put the lug nut on. And then he walked all the way out to the end of the chain. And he goes, stand back a little bit. I said, okay. And he grabbed that chain. It was like whipping. You know what I mean? And he went like a whipping motion. And that chain whipped. And when it yanked on that axle, that whole axle came out and went ting, ting on the ground. He walked over, took the lug nut off, put the washer in his pocket, dragged his chain all the way across the shop, and put it in his toolbox. Now, this gentleman was in his 50s, right? And that's wisdom. See, that's wisdom. That's experience. You know, he was able not only to do what I needed done, but he was able to do it with very little effort, very little time. And I heard this phrase years ago, ladies and gentlemen, and it's called work smart instead of hard. And what I believe that means is working smart is leaning on other people that have knowledge and experience and wisdom. And we live in a unique day right now where everyone's so bombarded by so many opinions and information and all of this stuff that I've never ever seen a time in my life. And this is not an excuse, because I'm going to tell you how to get away from it. I've never seen a time in my life where there was so much information, so many experts, so many people that say they know what they're doing without any documentation whatsoever. See, when I was in that shop and trying to figure out that problem, there was one individual and a shop that helped me. And my respect and trust for him went skyrocketed. I thanked him very much. I told him how much I appreciated it. He like bailed me out. I owed him like a favor. You know, it was amazing. And he ended up being one of my best coaches as a mechanic, other than Phil, which was a guy that I met in California that sort of guided me through the ropes. So before I go any further, I want you to simply think. If you've got a piece of paper, then awesome, right? But I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen, and here's what I want you to write down. Who were some very, very life-changing coaches, mentors, teachers, and people in your life that just did those neat little touches for you? You know, for some of you, it might be a parent. For some of you, it might be a teacher. For some of you, it might be a coach. But you got to have some people that you can rely on and reach out. And here's the deal. We still don't do it enough. I still don't do it enough. I'll lean on a coach and a mentor. I'll learn a little bit, and then I'll go apply it on my own. And so one of the things that I want to now teach you is after I tell you that story, is it kept reflecting back in my life to where I am today. And when I met my mentor, my first mentor, which was Roger Penske, and I talk about this in the video, is he was the first person that really, really, really challenged every thought I had. Now listen closely. He would make me question every thought I had. So, you know, is the teachers, is your parents, the people that raised you, maybe people that are in your church, you know, relatives, friends, all of these people, when you really simply think, and I'm going to challenge you here, that's what this webinar is all about, is you really need to question where all your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs came from. And here's why you need to, and you really need to think about it consciously. You know what I mean? You got to make a personal thing. Well, where did I get that? And ask yourself this question: how do I know that? And the reason that you have to do that is, would every one of you agree with the following statements? According to the IRS and also the U.S. Census of the United States. So if you're watching this from other countries, use your statistics. I don't know all the countries, right? But do you realize that in the United States, only 5% of the people, 5% of the people in the United States make over 200,000? Only 5% of the people make over 200,000. Now, if you really look at that, that's including the billionaires and the multimillionaires and the 100 millionaires. So when you're working with a group of people, doesn't make a difference what group of people that is. What would you say the percentage the percentage of the people, if you were a real estate agent, if you were an insurance agent, if you were a doctor, if you were a dentist, if you were a lawyer, if you were a professional athlete, I want you to seriously think about what percentage of all the people that you hang around on a day-to-day basis make over $200,000. Now, there's two thoughts that you're going to have. One is none of the people that I hang around with all the time make over 200 grand. That's a thought. But my next question from Roger Penske, a billionaire, is how do you know that? See, there's a book that was written out there called The Millionaire Next Door. And see, we're really, really, really good. We're really good at judging people. How many people would be willing to admit that you judge people, that you go, wow, look at the way they're dressed, and wow, look at the way they act, look at their car, look at the way their home is. That guy can't be having any money. And that's where these phrases come from. When people turn around and say, hey, let's put a list of all your friends and family and everyone you know together. And people go, none of my friends and family, no one I know makes any money. The whole point is how do you know that? Now I'm going to take it to the other extreme, and some of you are going to be shocked by this, really shocked. I guarantee you, I would bet you money that there's people that you're following right now that you believe that are making over $200,000 a year that are not. Are you listening to me? They are not. Well, they're grand poopah. I seen the pin, and they were written up in a newsletter. That doesn't mean anything. And a lot of companies, the company's whole mentality is they want to give praise and recognition to people that are successful. And a person can go out and be focused and really working hard, and then they get the grand poopah pin, and they haven't done anything since. Or they had people that left, right? People that left in their groups and went to another company. And now you got all these people that used to be, it's not only that they were successful or made over 200,000 and they don't anymore, but they're still the same people that are teaching all the brand new people that are coming into the profession, coming in. And so my mentor was really smart. Think about this. When I met my mentor, do you know the very first thing that he showed me after I seen a definitely an effective presentation? Wow. I was blown away with how good this guy put together an effective presentation. And then the next thing that he showed me was a check attached to the stub, a $62,000 check attached to the stub. Now, this was back in 88, I think, 1988. And I've never seen that kind of money. And one of the guys behind me even asked, he said, why do you have your check attached to the stub? Because don't we all know people that are critical and people that are judgmental and, it's just nuts, haters or trolls. That's what we call them today, right? And the ad that I posted on Facebook to get a lot of the people that are here, I'm driving around in my Rolls Royce Ghost. And there was people that said, oh, nice car, nice car. Well, there's still a group of people. One group of people didn't even know about the ad. They'll never see the ad in the video. Another group of people that seen the video and ad and went, nah, this ain't for me. Another group of people that seen the ad and went, wow, if this guy's giving his book away for free, he's doing a free webinar, I'm going to jump on this. I'm just going to see what it is. Now, they made that commitment, but guess what? They didn't show up on this webinar. See, things got in the way, but they were excited. Then we had a group of people that registered that showed up, and I could see Jeff and Jeanette and BJ and Steve, and thank all of you for getting on here. That's awesome. So then there's another group that just feels like they got to be haters no matter what. And there was this guy that put on there, wow, nice sales video, trying to sell a course while you rented a Rolls Royce. And ladies and gentlemen, you guys, I promise you, when you get your mindset in the right place, these people won't bother you. You'll laugh at them because you'll laugh and then you'll feel sorry for them. First of all, if any one of you want to try to find out what it would cost to rent a brand new Rolls Royce, they just don't rent Rolls Royces to anybody. So where would your credit have to be? What kind of money would you have to put up? How much of a deposit would you have to rent? How much would it cost to rent a Rolls Royce? So even if he was saying the truth that I only rented the car, right? That's still a pretty good achievement. Scott, you put $1,000 a day. You are not even close. You are not even close. Probably, no exaggeration, probably 3,000-4,000 a day. And so one of the uniqueness, and check it out, exotic car places all over in California, Scott, that's for sure. And so, so what I did is I got my insurance card. I already put it back in there. But I got my insurance card and I noticed that the picture I had online is my registration was old. So I got my new registration and then I got my new insurance card and I posted it on there. Now, why did I do that? See, I did that because I could have deleted the guy, but I thanked him. If you go look at the post, I went, thank you very much for posting this. Because you posted this, it allowed me to go out there and it allowed me to go out there and show the documentation of it. So, so that's pretty amazing, right? And so the reason that I bring that up is you'll find people where their mindset is really, really, really messed up. And I want each and every one of you to know that are watching this video is you got to understand. Excuse me, it's warm in here. You got to understand that whether you believe in a higher power or not, whether you believe in God or not, there's no one like you. There was no one ever created like you. And there's not going to be anyone that's ever going to be created like you again. You're incredibly gifted. You're incredibly unique. And you have so much, if you allow me to say it, God-given potential. You have so much potential. I'm telling you this. You cannot even imagine. You cannot even imagine how incredible your life could be in every area. Happiness, joy, giving. You cannot imagine. And one of the strongest powers, I was telling my wife this today, that, like in Think and Grow Rich, I always got the book right next to me all the time. But, they did a study recently asking a lot of successful individuals, what do you think is the most incredible thing that you could have? And it all came down to everybody saying imagination. Imagination. Now, think about this for just a millisecond. I want you guys to focus and think about this just for a little bit, right? Do you realize that I'm talking to you, on a computer in Laurel, Montana, out in rural Montana, and people are going to watch this video all over the world? Do you realize that everything, the computer that you're using, the way that you hear from the speakers, the microphone, this is traveling over Wi-Fi, you know what I mean? And if you think about all the things that we use on a day-to-day basis, wearing clothes, you know what I mean? Putting, conditioner in our hair or shampoo, everything was a thought. everything from the wheel to controlling fire to all the basic things, food, how to prepare food, how to make food. All of it started out as a thought. Thoughts are things. And what's unique about each and every one of you that are watching this video right now is you have the ability to create an incredible life in every area from your physical to your financial to your spiritual to your mental to your social, your communication skills. You have the ability to change and raise every area of your life. You have the ability to raise your standards in every area of your life. And we live in a day and an age in time where every bit of the wisdom, the coaching, the mentoring, the guidance, everything's available. Never in any time in history that I've been involved in marketing and communicating, you guys have it all. So not only do you have the potential, and not only do you have the ability to get the wisdom and knowledge, and then we got all these people that just are not doing anything. And so one of the biggest things that I can give each and every one of you is we're not trees. We can move, we can do things, but a tree, and it's in a place that it is, all it does all the time is grow. It just grows and grows and grows and grows. The plants on this planet, their job is to grow. Their job is to blossom. Their job is to become as beautiful as they possibly can and continue to grow. You're not a tree. And so you got choice. And the majority of the people that watch this video right now live, and the majority of the people that will watch it forever, will consistently make the decision every single day to not do anything, to just keep everything as status quo, to stay comfortable, to not challenge themselves, to not get themselves excited about something, not find their vision, their purpose, their passion. And what I want each and every one of you to do right now is that's what my mentors did for me. My mentors and coaches challenged me. And one of my mentors was Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn was the kind of guy that said consistently all the time is that, what? The worst thing that you can do in life, ladies and gentlemen, is lie to yourself. Lie to yourself. And what do I mean by lying to yourself? Is you got all these people out there, they say, well, listen, how are you doing? Great, I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. Really, let me see your bank account. We got online banking now. You can click on here and go right into online banking. See, Jim Rohn was the first person to understand business psychology. And he said, listen, stop lying to yourself. If you don't have the money, say you don't have the money. And I'm tired of living like this. Enough's enough. And you guys have heard my story from, trying to hide my car from the repo man, seeing the eviction notice on my door. And Jim Rohn's cracking point, which enough is enough, is his whole total, is he lied to a Girl Scout. So a Girl Scout knocked on his door and said, hello, mister, can you buy some cookies? And he said, listen, I already had Girl Scouts that came to this area and they bought cookies. And he said, when he walked and shut the door, he said, I'm not living like this anymore. This is it. And see, a lot of people out there right now, I'm watching them because I'm mentoring them, I'm coaching them, is they still don't understand that they haven't changed the thing between their ears. And if your results don't show it, then guess what? You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. if you don't have the relationships that you want, if you're not, not communicating with the people that you love, you haven't learned communication skills. You know what I mean? If you don't have a good relationship with a higher power, if you don't have joy and happiness in your life, if you don't have a reason to get up, if you're not waking up in the middle of the night, you can't wait to get started on your vision, your purpose, your passion, then you need to figure that out instead of figuring out, well, I want to figure out how to market this product. I want to figure out how to do an effective presentation. I want to learn where I can find people. I want to learn how, to build my business. If you don't have a vision, a passion, a purpose in your life, you're hosed. You're hosed. And so you immediately, each and every one of you, if you hang around people that have purpose, vision, and passion in their life, it's so obvious, it's ridiculous. And their life shows it. Again, Jim Rohn said it best, success leaves clues. So the first thing I want each and every one of you to get is understand that thoughts are things. That, when a Jim Rohn or a Zig Ziglar or a Napoleon Hill or an Andrew Carnegie or a Wallace or a Hamill, all these people talked about that it's 80% strategy. It's 80% on how you think. And I see all these companies out there and all these training programs on, hey, you want to get leads, you want to get leads, you want to get, leads, you want to get leads, you want to, scripts, you want to, they're all talking about the how. They're all talking about the how and the what. And we all go, wow, I just had people to talk to. Well, if you finally go into action, I heard this from a number of, I've never ever bought leads and called them myself, never. And you'll understand why if you've gone through any of my training, because I learned communication skills. I learned how to give someone an effective game plan. I learned how to be able to help them find their purpose, their vision, and their passion. And when I did that, I put together a game plan with them, and they introduced me to everyone they knew. But I didn't want to know everyone they knew. I wanted to know the people that were the already self-motivated people. I already wanted to find people that already had, wanted a higher standard in their life. They already wanted, they increased their ambitions. They wanted that. You want to find people like that. And if people don't learn how to communicate to get people to know, like, and trust them, then guess what? Now you're like playing lottery. Now what you're doing is you're like pulling handles on all the slot machines in a casino. You're throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall, hoping something will stick. And you got all the people that are selling you these leads and selling you these scripts and selling you these trainings and doing all their stuff. And they're saying you're just one person away. You're just one person away. And I'm going like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? That's not what my mentor taught me. See, my mentors taught me how to work on my heart and how to work on my mindset. And people always go, if I just had money, if I just had time, if I just had. And see, when you hear yourself talking that way, that means that you're not being resourceful. See, you're looking for resources. So your mindset is looking for excuses. You always don't have something. Do you know people like this? They if I just had this, if I just had this, and if my upline would help me, and if someone would just give me a group, and if someone would just help me, and if someone would give me some money, and if they're always looking for resources instead of being resourceful. You see what I mean? People that are resourceful, like a Steve Jobs, like a Bill Gates, like a Mark Cuban, like a Elon Musk, like a Mark Zuckerberg, these people are resourceful. And you know why they're resourceful? Because you know their names. When you say, Warren Buffett, when you know someone's name, they are extremely, extremely resourceful. And I just want you to think about that. So the first part of what I wanted to talk about on this webinar is how important you got to learn to work on your thoughts, to work on what you know. Now, for some of you that you want to do this, and I guess I can post this on here, but just for getting on this webinar, if you go to http, and that's lifemechanic.com/gift. Did you guys all see that? Wow, that's pretty cool. All right. So if you go to lifemechanic.com/gift, my mentor told me not only about this book, Science, Life, Think and Grow Rich, but there's another book there called Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, along with the audios. And for some of you, you're going to be able to know exactly where you are. If you can't, listen closely. There's a book out there called, if you want to, you can go to my Facebook page and click on notes. And when you click on notes, there's another one in there by Og Mandino, which is called The World's Greatest Miracle. And in there, what I have is the God Memorandum. Now, if spiritual stuff scares you, guess what? This is all about the gift of you, right? And you guys will know, and I'm going to take each and every one of you and really, really say something to you before I move on to the next part, is if you cannot, listen, you can, but if you make a decision not to spend an hour a day on you getting better in here, if you find every reason in the world to stay in that reactive place in life. See, 97% of the people on the planet are reactive. They get up in the morning, the very first thing they do is they put this on, their smartphone, whatever. They're checking their emails, they're checking their Facebook posts, they're watching TV. They're constantly being reactive. And if you don't find the time to make yourself better, you're never going to be better. So everyone always asks me all the time, it's like, well, listen, how do I do this? And what do I do? And how do I do this? And what do I do? And I tell people, do you write down your why? And they don't. I work on personal development. I dedicate my ritual in the morning, and I do not change my ritual. I know how important it is every morning to get up and feed my spirit, feed my soul, feed my mind. And if I don't, I'm not in the right mindset, and I don't have the right intentions. I don't have the same clarity. I don't have the same focus. And I watch so many people out there not getting any results. And they're not getting any results in life for the very simple reason is they're doing it with the wrong thoughts, the wrong intentions. They're trying to go out there and sign people up and trying to enroll them and try to get them product and trying to, make a buck. And they don't even know what would happen if they did find a good person. So that's the first part of this webinar is how much that you can work on your mind. For those of you that found a way to get on this webinar, you also can go to lifemechanic.com/book, lifemechanic.com/book. If someone wants to write that up there, and let me give you my book. So all the stuff that I was inspired, all the stuff that I told you about, I did my very, very best and pour my heart, my soul into this book. How is that working? And so we started out with, how do you know that? And then the next thing I'm going to say is, how is that working? Now, the first part, I brought that up on the video, is I actually thought, what the concept of turning around and telling people, what was you thinking? Or what are you thinking, right? So now I also want to close off this first part by saying this, is if you're having trouble with staying in a system and putting together a ritual and doing that, I got some stuff that I'll share with you here in a minute that will help you. Now, the next part is, how is that working? Again, this is all about the mindset of understanding that if what you're doing is not getting results, continuing to doing it is not going to get you results. And so the world and other teachers and, if someone tells you to do something and then you go out and do it. So some of you, see, this is the first group of people. The first group of people I talk to, you know what to do. You hearing me? You know what to do. You know exactly what to do. You're just not doing it. You're just not doing it. So you ask yourself, why aren't I doing it? Why don't I believe in this? Why don't I think that it will work? How hard would it be to build a business if you don't believe that you can do it, and you don't believe it's for you, and you don't want anyone to know? I'm going to keep it a secret until I make money. That doesn't work. All right. So now the second group of people are saying, no, listen, Robert, if you tell me where to go, you tell me where to go. I'll go through the audios. I'll go through the videos. If you told me to read Science to Getting Rich, I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to go on lifemechanic.com/gift, and I'm going to read it tonight. See, that's me. That's the action taker. That's the person that goes out there and they go into action. They do what they're told. They know how to follow instructions. They're good at it. So now, if you're not getting the results that you should be getting, now you're missing some of the wisdom. See, when I told you, you know what to do, you do. But guess what? You want to add a little bit of that to it. Everyone that's an entrepreneur, everyone that's successful, are constantly learning how to make things work better. They're more effective. A quick story that I love telling all the time is, if I wanted to do this, I don't, but if I wanted to be in the racing industry, NASCAR, right? Then the very first thing that I would do is, since Ricky Hendricks and his team of drivers have won like 10 world championships in the last 10 years, see, I would go out and get his equipment. I would buy his chassis, his motors, his cars. I would buy everything that he would have, and I would try to get his drivers to teach my drivers. I would try to get his mechanics to tell my mechanics and crew chiefs what to do. And that's what happens when you're part of a team. Does that make sense? And so one of the things that a lot of you got to do is, which I brought up at the very beginning of this webinar, is you need a coach. I'm not saying that you might need a coach. I say you need a coach. And a quick story that I want to give you guys that you guys will really love, because it's current news. Now, whether you like basketball or not, it doesn't make a difference. There's a gentleman that I know that you guys have all heard of, Stephen Curry. Right now he's going through injuries, but they played their first game tonight. I'm not a big, huge basketball fan, but when it comes down to the best playing the best, I like watching, right? And so they won their first game tonight, I think, against the Portland Trail Blazers. They just won the series against Houston Rockets. And see, I don't even know who else is in. Here's why. Because Stephen Curry last year won the not only a world championship with his team, but he scored 272 three-point shots. And he broke all the records that they had for a single season in scoring. Last year, or this season, he did 400. So he beat the record at 272. And this year, he outdid himself at 400 three-point shots in a single season. Now, if you know anything about the Golden State Warriors, I want to give you some neat things. They won this year. They broke the record for the Chicago Bulls as the most games won in a single season. It was 72. Now it's 73. And when you're in a place where you're raising your standards, you're raising your ambitions, and you're constantly going out there trying to be better you. See, Stephen Curry's only record that he could break was his own. And Guess what? 273 would have been a record. 300 would have been a record. 400 definitely a record. But going back to this 73 games, if you look at Stephen Curry's career, including the Golden State Warriors 3 years ago, they were a nobody team. They were a nobody team. They wasn't even winning 50% of their games. Just out there. And all of a sudden, what the Golden State Warriors did is they hired a coach named Stephen Kerr, Kerr. What's unique about Stephen Kerr is he's won world championships as a player. And him and Michael Jordan are the only two basketball players that were on the team when they won the 72 games in a row and won the world championship. The rest of them were, all on different teams. There was an entire team there, of course, like Rodman and Pittman, Scottie Pippen, and so on, right? But here's the point. Stephen Kerr as a coach knew how to win 72 games in a season. Why? Because he was on the team. And he was coached by Phil Jackson. That's got 11 rings. So Golden State Warriors are going nowhere. No one knows who Stephen Curry is. And then you bring in this coach named Steve Kerr. And last year, they won their first world championship. Do you know there's only him and Pat O'Reilly that are the only two rookie first-year NBA coaches to win a world championship? So I'm saying all this to you because I know about my coach, Roger Penske. I know about my coach, Bill Gould and Jim Rowan. See, I know about my coaches in life like Dr. Pratt. When you tell success stories like a Stephen Curry story or them winning their world championship, and now that Curry's hurt, Thompson steps up and had his best game ever in a championship game. I think he scored 37 points tonight and beat the Trailblazers. Why am I saying this to you? Is that I don't think that you're supposed to. I don't think it's natural to be a world champion in anything in life without a coach, without a team, without a group of people. Each and every day getting up by yourself, trying to be successful, doing things that you think are right, and you're working hard. It wears you down. It rips away your spirit. It rips away who you are. And people keep doing stuff without asking other people to document it. So that was the second lesson that I learned. My mentor, Bill Gould, when he showed me his checks and then he showed me all the pictures of other people that he actually had checks with, that's when I knew that this guy had taught other people on how to be successful. And that's why I followed him. And today I have the success that I have, and I'm able to teach other people how to do it because I had my coaches and mentors. So I have people that come and go in my life all the time. They come in for a season and then they leave. And some of them come back and then some of them leave again. And it's always fun to be able to find people that say, you know what, enough's enough. And they stop doing things that other people just tell them to do. They start saying, listen, you know what? Can I see your back office? Can I see your check? I'm putting a lot of effort and time into this. And I'm already a rep, so you telling me what you make. And you got to start learning from people that are way more successful than you. Every success book that I've read talks about, that we retain about less than 10%, even if we write it down. So when our mentors and our coaches are saying, do this, do that, do this, do that, and you're going through, all the back office and you're going through the videos and the audios, I still listen to Jim Rowan today. I still listen to Science of Getting Rich today. I've recently been listening to the the Master Key System by Charles Hamill, you know, and I constantly go through this stuff, and it always brings me back to center. The older I get, the more the stuff means, the more I pick it up, the easier it is. So I'm consistently going through stuff that was written in the 1910s that I searched and I found, and I continue to go through it. Why? Because it alters and changes me consistently and always. And I know a lot of people that are watching this, that you do it for a season, then you quit, because that's human nature. And I just ask you very simply is to look at your life. And if your life's not going the way it is, maybe you should plug in some of the stuff. I love that one thing I seen on Facebook one time is when things are not going right in my life, I just go back to what my coach and my mentor told me to do. So very, very, very interesting thought. But you need to start being selective about who you're listening to. Who you're listening to. So if you're only learning from individuals that will document their income to you, document the people that they've actually mentored, you got to be selective, and you got to pick a mentor, one coach. You know, Stephen Kerr doesn't have 5 coaches. He might have a different coach on something else, but on basketball, he's probably got one coach. Now, under those coaches, you can have assistant coaches that can teach you how to dribble. And he went to Kobe Bryant camps to learn how to do 3-point shooting. See, if you want to get specific with one area, learn from people that are documented in doing that. So that's the other key. So I don't want to keep you long here tonight. What I want to do is to each and every one of you is I just wanted you to get to a place in life where you start reevaluating stuff, that you mentally in your mind start going, wow, you know, do I really have the right mentors? Do I have the right coaches? And see, some of you are going to consistently say to yourself, well, I don't know how to find one. Well, guess what? I want to offer in the closing of this webinar some simple thoughts. Is first, you know, go to lifemechanic.com. If you haven't been to lifemechanic.com, and guess what? There's different videos if you go to lifemechanic.com and subscribe. So just go to the front page, lifemechanic.com, put in your, and I know what some of you see, I'm already telling you guys right now, stop thinking. Stop thinking. You know what I mean? People go, well, I already put in my email address and Peter's on here. One coach doesn't work for me. Well, I have multiple coaches too, Peter. But when it comes to learning how to do Facebook advertising and how to pinpoint and target an individual, I don't have multiple coaches on Facebook training and Facebook ads. So that's what I wanted to bring up. So there's a lot of people I always find out that, and Peter, you might not be one of these people, but people go, oh, I got multiple coaches. And I go, great. You know, so, you know, how's your finances right now? How's your relationship with your spouse? How's your relationship with your kids? How many people have you mentored? How much do you give to charity? And it's like, you know, again, be very, very careful. And Peter's probably fine, you know, but I just want people to sometimes say, listen, I'm okay. Are you okay? Are you okay? Right? So go to lifemechanic.com, subscribe. You're going to start getting some videos. Next thing that you can do is you can go to lifemechanic.com/coaching. Matt put together a page for me. And if you decide, there's a couple of things that I offer. Not only do I offer individual coaching, I think I've seen, you know, Kim and Junior on here. They're one of my coaching clients, and I'm so proud of them, man. They're really, I mean, you know, we're like almost crying or, you know, getting super emotional on our last coaching call because there was a couple of things that they're applying right now in their life, and their personal relationship is changing. Junior says the way he thinks is changing, and same with Kim. And that's what I do. That's the specialty that I have, is I want you to fall back in love with yourself. I want to teach you how to look at yourself as an individual that deserves and is worthy. I specialize in that because I need to learn that the most. Does that make sense? So if you go there and put in your email address along with your deal, I got a short video I just finished before I got on there in the same shirt. And, you know, let's put together and schedule some time. I'd love to be able to help you in any way I can. There's another aspect that we have, which is, you know, just people say, well, listen, I'm not doing well with finances. I don't know, you know, how to do this. Then I can guide you in a way to be able to use what we have, you know, hundreds of students. And with students, you know, with the Life Mechanic University, you know, I actually have a deal where I do not only Ask Me Anythings, which is you can come on a Google Hangout just like this and come on live and ask me anything you want, which is awesome. You know, so I interact with people that like that. If you went online and put in, you know, Ask Me Anything with Robert Hollis, you'd find so many of them that are out there. But, you know, I want it to be specific for you. And then also with my students, I constantly do trainings on a monthly basis of all the new stuff that I'm learning. So as I'm paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to individuals and trainers, what I do is I take that information, I then execute it to go out and see if it works. And when it gets results, then I share it with my students. And then last but not least is I have my Millionaire Creation Formula. I was actually challenged, believe it or not, by a guy named Eric Worre. And Eric Worre actually, you know, went out of his way. And I'm going to learn how to do maybe this offer here. I think Matt was saying, let me see if that loads up there. Okay, display offer. You guys see it? Whoa, Matt's awesome. So the Millionaire Creation Formula is one of those things that are just really, really dear to me. I was challenged by Eric Worre. I went out and helped him do some breakthrough seminars. And in the breakthrough seminars, believe it or not, I think it's $5,000, $4,997 to go through one of Eric Worre's coaching things. And again, if you want to, you know, bring a spouse, I think he's really nice, and he'll let you bring a spouse there. But I was going to go and click on here, see if you guys can see my screen here. You guys can see my screen. Yeah, hopefully I go back here, screen. I hope I didn't lose everyone. And probably didn't because of Google Hangout, but you want to go to lifemechanic.com, MCF, I'm sorry. And you'll not only get to go through a lot of videos here, but you're going to see here that the course that we put together is 27 hours, 27 hours. And the modules that we have will just blow your mind. So it's 27 hours, 21 modules, but each and every one of these things have to do with not only taking control of your life, but, you know, how to use an expert from afar, the art of sorting, everything that you need to learn to be an entrepreneur. And like everything that I have, it's 100% money back guarantee. And you know, it's just amazing the results that I have off this. If you go to this page, like we talked about, down here is where I really know Melody's right in here someplace, and you know, Mary Allen, my sons, Hannah. There's just unbelievable amount of people that I have on here that's testimonials, and I never thought about this. You know, for those of you that feel like I've done anything for you, you know, man, if you want to give me a testimonial, I would love it. And here's even a video where I asked a bunch of people to really simply, you know, put together some thoughts that they had. Let me mute that. I just wanted to make sure I continue with the social proof of what a lot of people have taken the time. There we go. But if I go through this is just me going through all the ones that have to do with, you know, people making Facebook comments. So, I mean, it's just on and on and on and on and on of all the people that have actually put in each and every one of their Facebook comments. And then here are some of the business owners that I've helped that have just done extremely, extremely well. And I could go on and on, but that was just me telling you some of the things that we actually offer that I can help you take it to the next level. And I'm going to consistently go out there and do more and more of these kind of hangouts. I hope that all of you enjoyed it. Maybe if I go back here to chat, did you guys didn't lose it? I hope. and so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did want to take more than an hour to get on here, but I really want to, I'll be putting together an Ask Me Anything. Probably, I don't know, Matt's already have it written up for my students when I'm doing my next class, and an Ask Me Anything for the month of May. But I just want each and every one of you to know that if you're not getting the results and of what you want in life, you're missing something. And so Jeff put on here, Orrin Woodward is my mentor. Awesome. There's so many mentors out there, and I'm not the only mentor. I'm just telling everyone that, listen, if you got a great mentor, then Jeff, I'll tell you right now, if Orrin Woodward's your mentor and you're working with him on a personal basis, then you got to be $1 million earner. And I really appreciate you getting on here. So people tell me, hey, I got this guy as my mentor, and this guy is my mentor, this guy is my coach. I want each and every one of you to know that you can learn from them like you do with Jim Rohn. But then if you want to take it to the next step and go out there and work with them personally, that's where you're going to get it. So, so anyway, I see a lot of people on here. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. But thank you, Peter, for all your comments. And I apologize to every one of you for not being able to look directly at those. But Banyel, Kim, Steve, Peter, Jeff, thank you so much. Working with some great mentors. That's awesome. And that's another thing, when Jeff says that he's got mentors already and got multiple mentors like Peter. I'm not the individual, believe it or not. I just hired my my fifth coach just recently that had everything with understanding how to, build a blog. I put Life Mechanic up on there, and now that I built Life Mechanic, I think we got over, close to 26 or 27 contacts since February 14th. I think we just went, over $30,000. And I will say one thing for any one of you that decide that you want to, take them, do personal coaching or mentoring, or you decide to buy the Millionaire Creation Formula, for the first couple of people that get in, I'll say 3, my son will watch it. For the first 3 people that decide to come in on the $1 Million Creation Formula, and you'll see on there that we also have payments. What I'll do is I'll throw in an hour coaching call. And so I'm only going to do that for the first 5 because my time fills up pretty fast. So I appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. Right now, I'm charging $1,000 for our coaching call. So I'm looking forward to helping each and every one of you. So thank you, Jeff, Peter, Irene, BJ, Melody, Scott. I just thank you so much for you guys for making this an incredible first webinar, doing it this way. I hope you guys enjoy it. I had to learn how to do my style and be me. I tried to use those slides where I couldn't be on the screen, and it just wasn't me. It just wasn't me. So anyway, I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Never, ever forget that if I can do it and teach other people to do it, and mentors and coaches taught me to do it, I can teach you to do this. So anyway, take care. God bless. Looking forward to helping each and every one of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, rest of it. And God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.